Adult friendships are hard. One of my favorite ways to connect with people is by sharing hobbies. My favorite hobby lately is making cocktails. Let's learn how to make a martini. At its core, a martini is a stirred cocktail made with gin and dry vermouth. Now, I know there's a lot of different variations. Sometimes the garnish changes, or sometimes people use vodka instead of gin. We'll talk more about that later. But it's really those two things. And the beauty of a martini is how perfectly those two things fit together. The alchemy of what makes this drink so special is the texture when it's served ice cold. The glassware is important for that. How full you fill your mixing glass is important for that. One of the coolest things about a great martini, though, is that you don't have to have some really rare or special ingredients to make one. You can pick up high quality gin, high quality dry vermouth at a liquor store, or in some states you can even get them at a grocery store. Now, technique I'll be able to teach you today, and you'll be able to confidently make a martini for your friends and family. Let's take a look at some of the bottles and gear we have here today. I'll talk through the bottles, and I'll also talk about some gear swaps if you don't quite have all this stuff at home. First, you need gin. I like a London dry gin. I like the juniper intensity that gives, but also a lot of other gins might accentuate lavender or citrus qualities, and those are great too. Also, dry vermouth. There's also, you'll find extra dry, you'll find blanc vermouth. I think for a martini, regular Dolin or French dry vermouth works great. Here is a mixing glass. If you don't have a mixing glass, you can use a pint glass. Anything that can hold about maybe 20 ounces of liquid. I know that sounds like a lot for making such a small drink, but the ice takes up a lot of space. I have a mixing spoon like this. You don't need this. A lot of people get by with a chopstick. And so a pint glass and a chopstick, you can make a great martini with that as well. I also have a jigger, which is really important just for measurements. We'll talk a little bit about ratios in a martini in a little bit. And the jigger really helps you get precise measurements for that. A strainer helps separate the ice from the liquid once you're actually pouring it into your drink. And then finally, I have a lemon and what do they call these? A Y peeler. So this will pull off a swath of the lemon and allow me to express lemon oil over the surface of the drink. I also included here a couple other things that are not necessary and I won't be using today, but just for reference, orange bitters are a common kind of classical historical addition to a martini, and I think they're great. I usually use them with a gin that is a little bit less juniper forward, one of like more modern American gin. I think it works really well. And then also I brought along here some vodka. I have kind of a little gag at my house. It's really just between me and myself, but I like to keep a bottle of vodka on hand. This is a great vodka, but I am trying to see how long I can go without opening it. It's not that I think vodka is bad by any means. I know a lot of people like vodka, and part of hosting and having people over to your house is being able to be a good host and being able to serve people what they want. I find that oftentimes with a little bit of conversation, I can steer people towards something that might be a little bit more interesting that may not be their normal order. The goal isn't to trick people, but maybe just to introduce them to something new. That's a lot of talking, so let's get into actually making the drink. One of the most important things to get into whenever you're talking to somebody about how they like their martini, that's actually a really common response from a bartender when someone says they want a martini, is how do you like your martini? What they're usually asking about is sometimes the garnish. The garnish is important, but also the ratio, how sweet or how dry someone likes a martini. So I like a martini with an 8-to-1 ratio, which means I'm gonna do 2 ounces of gin to a 1/4 ounce of dry vermouth. Now I'll put some different ratios up on the screen while I'm jiggering up this drink so you guys can kind of see some examples of how sweet or how dry, sometimes bone dry, meaning no dry vermouth, a martini can be, but let's jump in. So like I said, I'm gonna fill this 1 ounce side of the jigger twice, 1 ounce, and 2 ounce. And then with the dry vermouth, I'm just gonna do a 1/4 ounce. And this is a great jigger. It shows 1/4 ounce, 1/2 ounce, 1 ounce on one side, and then some other options on the other side. I'm just gonna do a 1/4 ounce here of dry vermouth, throw that in, and then let me get some ice, 1 second. So here is some ice straight from the freezer. And also I grabbed the glass. The glass was also in the freezer. This is important to make sure that the martini truly is icy whenever it's served up. And so here's the ice. I try to use a lot of ice. Might look like a little bit ridiculous, but it really helps to get the drink filled down, and it helps with even dilution. And so when I'm stirring, what I'm looking for is for the sides of the glass to kind of show some condensation, showing that the contents are nice and cold. That looks about right. So the side has showing some condensation, and the liquid level has changed significantly as it's taken on some of the dilution. I will throw this over the top to strain it out. Just like this. And then I'm going to use this Y peeler to pull off a swath of a lemon. It's important to wash your lemons ahead of time so they don't have that kind of waxy stuff on the outside. And then you hold the peel with the yellow side towards the glass, squeeze it like this, and give it a little twist, and I like to drop it in. So now we'll give it a try. Yeah, wow, it's crisp, it's velvety, it's refreshing. The lemon oil over the top just really gives it a little bit of a top note that helps it sing. I think this is a great drink. You do have to like gin for this to work. I kind of mentioned earlier the vodka swap and that sort of thing. But yeah, it has this like herbal alpine punch that really just can't be matched by any other drink. That's all on martinis for today. So if you're a home bartender or aspiring home bartender and want to see more videos like this, give me a like, subscription, comment, all that stuff. These things are more fun in discussion format. So if you send a question along about something that you saw today or something that you want to see in the future, that would be great. From here on out, we'll continue with more classic and modern classic recipes. Next week, we'll be discussing bitters and aromatics and one of my favorite whiskey drinks called a Sazerac. It's actually like the national drink of New Orleans. That doesn't make sense. The state drink of Louisiana, something like that. At the end of the day, drinks are for fun, and my goal with this channel is to teach people just enough so they can share that fun with the people they love. Come and be amazed at what you can do. Cheers.